Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today we are taking a look over a ship that has probably, in my mind, been the most profitable bunch of pixels Wargaming's ever put in this game. A ship that players have spent several hundreds, if not thousands of dollars trying to get. I myself have witnessed a fella drop over $2,000 in a sitting trying to get this ship. And that ship is the Tier 9 Premium American Battleship, the Missouri. Now, the Missouri is a pretty good cautionary tale about dumping insane amount of money into this game, or any game really, getting a digital item that, especially in like today's gaming world, is probably going to be power crept or made obsolete or even removed outright from whatever game you're buying it from. That's certainly the case with the Missouri. Now, first off, you might be thinking, well, why in the world were people dumping insane amounts of dollars trying to get this ship? Well, simply put, it's just a credit printer. Like, even in today's World of Warships, if you have an old Missouri, you don't really need any other premium ship. You can take this ship into game and just do the bare minimum and still make an insane amount of credits. Now, the game you're watching in the background is like, I would call it a slightly above average game for a tier 9 ship. Just, see what happens in the background footage, and you'll see the amount of credits I get at the end of this match. And I'm just running blue economic boosters on this ship too, not even the red ones. So that's why so many players wanted to get her. And when she first came out, you could simply acquire her by just trading in free XP. She had an amazing price tag of 750,000 free XP, which back in her day, in her prime, that was a bit more of a taller order to acquire. We didn't have all the boosters and such like we did as the game progressed, right? So it was a bit of a tall order, but wasn't entirely undoable. Just play the game long enough, you'll get your 750 free XP, and you can get the Missouri for free, essentially, right? Just, play the game. Or you could also spend some money on it. You could, let's say, grind up 400,000 free XP, and then free XP the other 350,000 free XP that you needed in order to acquire the Missouri. So you could spend X amount of dollars on it, right? It was up to you. Well, Wargaming realized they had overtuned her because, again, she was the first ever Tier 9 Premium introduced into this game, and they removed her from being able to be purchased in the game. And they replaced it with, I believe, the Musashi. And, from there on out, the credit of the Tier 9s got toned down. But she was always available in the Santa Container event, which led to many a player just throwing their wallet at the screen trying to get this ship in the Santa Container event. Now, the Santa Container event, if you guys don't know, is, of course, well, like many other wargaming events in this game, where you have a container that you can buy, and in that container you have the chance to get a premium ship. And in those containers are ships that have often been removed from the game. So unless they change them this year, there will be ships like the Massachusetts, the Georgia, the Missouri, not this Missouri, the quote-unquote new Missouri. I don't think the Julius Caesar is going to be in there this year. I think she's finally been removed. I think the Nikolai is in there. So ships that are highly desirable, right? So you're exchanging your money for a chance at getting one of those ships. And of course, if you want one ship in particular and you have the cash available, you're probably going to wind up dropping a ton of money on these containers before you actually get the ship that you want. And for many players, that is the Missouri because of her broken economy. And of course, it's the Missouri, a very, very famous ship here in the United States, one that many a naval and history buff knows by name. And of course, you want that ship in this game. So people dumped money trying to get this ship, and with the way that the Santa Container event worked, you probably aren't going to get what you want unless you already have a very high number of premium ships in your port already. Because if you don't have many premium ships, there's a whole list that the container rolls from, and the less premium ships you have, the more chances there are for it to land on a ship that you don't have. The more premium ships you have in your port, obviously, it only has so many that it can roll from. And plus, if it does roll a ship that you already have, it will re-roll to try and get a ship that you don't have, right? So if you didn't have a large fleet of premium ships already, you probably weren't going to get what you want. But some people, well, after the Sand Container event, they had a large fleet of ships in their port. And the ship they wanted on top of that. Now, if you did the math and you sit down, you break out a spreadsheet, you look up the prices for the things that you get out of the containers, you do actually get your money and then some out of the containers. But were you planning on spending $700, $800, $900, $1,000 right out of the gate? Right. So unless you were super lucky, that's what happened with most players, and it's what happened to the guy that I sat there and watched on his Discord stream as he dumped $2,000 to the game in order to get to the Missouri. Now, the Missouri is a very interesting case. She's actually, if you look at her in today's World of Warships, man, tongue twister, right? Quite a mediocre, dare I say, bad Tier 9 premium ship. Because she hasn't been buffed at all since her release. And again, this is the first ever Tier 9 premium ship we've had in game. And go look at the number of Tier 9 premiums that we have now. It's been a minute. This is despite the fact that her tech line counterpart, the Iowa, has been buffed. She got the improved American Battleship heal. All of the American battleships from Tier 7 to Tier 10 now have that improved heal. Why? Because the armor scheme of the American battleships leads them to be a bit squishy. And with the ever increase of HE spam, the CV rework, the quite a high number of large caliber guns that we have at Tier 9 plus now, all the 457s and above, the American battleships, they're pretty easy to get a nice chunk out of them if you have any of those ships. So, Wargaming, quite some time ago, buffed the American battleships to have this improved heal. And it definitely helped them stay relevant in the current meta. The Missouri didn't get that. Why not? Well, because it's a ship that, if you just derp around in it in game, you can get 800,000 credits. So why in the world would Wargaming buff a ship that is a credit printing machine already when you just stumble around a game? Why in the world would they want to make that ship more powerful and, lead to less premium shells? Because why would I buy a new premium ship when my Missouri does just fine, right? So, she's been left in the dust. And there's been a monkey wrench thrown in here, because you might be thinking, well, God, I want to get one of these things if it's, that good of a credit printer. And it is that good of a credit printer if you have an old Missouri. Now, what do I mean by old Missouri? Well, some time ago, Wargaming had the idea of reintroducing the Missouri into the game. But they didn't want to release the broken version, right? So they took the Missouri, hit copy, hit paste, and then applied the new Tier 9 Premium Economy to the Missouri. To where she is now, if you get a Missouri today in World of Warships, she is a new Missouri with a normal Tier 9 Premium Economy. So now what you have is an Iowa that's less survivable than the tech line ship, doesn't have a spotter or a fighter, it has a 9.5 kilometer radar, which you might be thinking, oh, see, that's a great thing, 9.5 kilometer radar for a battleship to have. How many times do you actually get like that close in game nowadays with a DD or, behind an island with another ship or something like that in a battleship? Doesn't really happen that often. Does still happen, but not that often. And you're trading the amazing improved heal that the American battleships get for that. Oh, and your fighter or spotter. So, yeah. Now, they can't buff the new Missouri because then that means they would have to buff the old Missouri. Or if they do buff the new Missouri and don't buff the old Missouri players are going to lose their frickin' minds. I know I would, because, that's just stupid that one version of the ship gets a buff and the other version doesn't, right? So, you're in that catch-22 with the Missouri, where if you want to, well, if you're wargaming and, you want to buff it because it is, a subpar Iowa at this point, you're going to have a resurgence of all the old Missouri players coming back and playing their Missouris rather than buying other premium ships because, again, who cares? If I didn't do YouTube, I certainly probably wouldn't have bought many other premium ships after I had my Missouri because, again, I need credits. I go into match Missouri and, well, look, 1.2 million credits per match. Cool, sweet, not going to buy anything else, right? So Wargaming's in that catch-22. And then if you are looking to get a Missouri now, again, with whatever they come back for, which it looks like it's just going to be the Santa container for, well, obviously, we're in October, right? So there's not going to be many opportunities to sell the thing. There's been so many times when I thought they were going to put the Missouri in the premium shop during 4th of July, but nope, hasn't happened yet. But anyway, yeah, so if you do see a Missouri up for sale in this game, it's really not worth it at tier 9 price, in my opinion, because, again, you're buying a worse Iowa, a subpar Iowa, when rather than do that, you can buy the premium package for Iowa and have a pretty sweet tier 9 ship that'll make you a nice tidy bit of profits, right? So, yeah, that's the situation with Missouri now. A ship that was too good at what she did was removed, was reintroduced back in the game in a more quote-unquote balanced economically version, but now as far as gameplay-wise goes, she's an absolute subpar ship. So, you can't buff it, though, because you'd have to buff the old one, too, or have those guys get mad and raise hell. So, yeah, very interesting situation with the Missouri indeed in game. Again, I don't think she's really worth it. If you do want like a premium Iowa, just buy Iowa's bonus package, and there you go. Have fun, enjoy your good tier 9, essentially tier 9 premium, right, with a bonus package equipped. And yeah, it's just a tale of what happens with games like this, with free-to-play games, with premium vehicles or premium whatever. Things eventually are going to get power crapped, or there's going to be issues with them down the road. So all those premiums that you might be spending hundreds of dollars on, or several $100s, or in some cases several $1,000s to get from events, they can always be changed or be power crapped, or be in this situation with the Missouri. I made a video a little while ago saying the same thing about the Musashi, how back when she was first released, not having AA was like, yeah, it doesn't have AA, but it's the Musashi. But now with super ships, super carriers, and the CV rework, right. But anyway, guys, just feel like talking about the Missouri today. I saw her sitting in my port and went into battle with her and thought, man, this is a really weird situation for a ship to be in. But we'll see if in the future this does continue to happen with some of the older premiums. But again, I think, as far as like economically goes, it's really only the Missouri at this point. Maybe the Roma or the Key with their Kobayashi camos. Who knows? But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of the week. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment. Helps on the YouTube side of things. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday, great rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.